Hello, and welcome to the Heathen's Journey podcast. I'm your host, Siri Vincent Plough, and I'm so glad you're here. This is the show where I explore heathenry through a queer lens. We will be talking about traditional witchcraft, runes, folklore, and so much more. Join us, won't you, as we journey to the ends of the 9 realms and back. Hello, and welcome back to a very special episode of the Heathen's Journey podcast. This is a very special episode because it marks the 1-year anniversary of my book, Lessons from the Empress, a tarot workbook for self-care and creative growth, out in the world. And I knew that I wanted to do something kind of fun for this, so my co-author, Cassandra Snow, has been posting a lot on Instagram. There's been kind of some, renewed buzz around the book that we've been trying to generate, and I just want to say that I am so, so grateful to everyone for supporting this book, supporting me, supporting Cassandra's work. It really, truly makes a huge difference, whether you've just, purchased the book or recommended it from your library, or if you've gifted it to someone or just told someone about it. It all is such a huge help, and I'm so, so, so thankful. I wanted to do something kind of unique for this. This was actually an idea that I had back when we were releasing the book the first time, which was to do a theft of the dial. Now, I thought that this was a more common phrase, but apparently it's just this one radio station where I live that will do this. So a theft of the dial is when a musician takes over being a DJ. So they're like a guest DJ on a radio station, or at least that's like how they refer to it on 89.3, The Current here in Minneapolis. And so I wanted to have a sort of theft of the dial on the podcast. I wanted to have a guest host who could host Cassandra and I and sort of ask us questions and facilitate the conversation in such a way that, it wasn't just Cassandra and I bouncing ideas off of each other, because, we wrote the book, like, we have very different things happening in our lives now. Like, we've got new projects, we're moving forward, I'm writing my next book, all of these different things. So I thought it would be really good to bring in a new perspective. And that perspective is Maria Minnis. You may know her as Minnis on Instagram. She is a fantastic writer. Her book, Tarot for the Hard Work, is coming out in January. I'm currently reading it, and it is fantastic, absolutely incredible. And I thought that, Maria kind of is the future of tarot in a lot of really amazing ways. And so I wanted to bring her onto the podcast. And it was also just kind of an excuse, honestly, for me to get to know Maria a little bit. We haven't actually ever Zoomed or had a conversation like in real space time. We've just like messaged back and forth a lot, commented on each other's work a lot. And so it was a really great opportunity for me to get to know her a little bit and to also shine the light on her and the amazing work that she does in the tarot space. So without further ado, thank you for joining me for the first ever Heathen's Journey Theft of the Dial. Theft of the Mic? Theft of the Mic. An episode hosted by Maria Minnis with Cassandra Snow and myself. As always, I will have links in the show notes, particularly to a place where you can buy Lessons from the Empress and pre-order Maria Minnis's Tarot for the Hard Work. The show notes will take you to my affiliate profile on bookshop.org, so I get a little bit of an extra. And of course, as always, stay weird.
Hello, everybody. I am Maria Minnis, and I am so freaking lucky to be here today with these absolute angels who created what I think is a masterpiece, not just in the tarot realm, but beyond, which is called Lessons from the Empress. And we are celebrating this 1 year anniversary today. And I know that when I read the book the first time, I was like, I need to get into these people's minds. Like, I need to know, like, what, where did this brilliance come from? But we'll get to those questions a little later. But right now, I just wanted to like do a check-in and ask if there's a tarot card that you feel like you're embodying or that is present in your day to day.
Oh,
That's a
this is
really good question.
I love this question. You go first, Cassandra.
Well, I actually feel like for me today, the day we're recording this, I finished a long dental procedure that took several visits. And so I feel like this whole week just has sort of like Ace of Swords, getting it done energy hanging over my head so I can actually try living my life again next week. So that's sort of where I am right now.
Nice.
I think, in like an Eight of Pentacles mood
Ooh.
because so I have a day job and have just been like I've just been like finishing shit left and right, like for the last 2 days, like, and it feels so good. I essentially like cut my workload in a third in the last 2 days. So
What?
yeah, so I'm thinking Eight of
Brilliant.
Pentacles.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. Thank you for sharing. I feel like I asked you all the question, so I should answer too.
Yeah.
Why not? I didn't think that I would answer this, so I'm taking a moment. I think I align pretty well with the card that I pulled for today, which is the Emperor. I got to really touch down, like connect with things that feel foundational for me. Like today, I talked to my mother, I talked to my brother, and like those, like reconnecting with them feels like, okay, I've got this steady, solid anchor of family that I can lean on anytime I want. And I am just like really getting things done, which is great. I don't know where this energy came from, but I'm working with it until it runs out. So, yeah, we've got an interesting mix of tarot archetypes in the mix today.
We do. I think it's so interesting that we're all like very watery and very artsy people. And today we're like Pentacles, Swords, the Emperor. Like we just happen to all come together on that day.
That is so interesting.
Oh my God, yes. And I also have to say, Maria, I think it's amazing that your card of the day slash moment is the Emperor, and we're talking about lessons from the Empress today.
Yep.
And it's a year later. We're in Emperor energy. I love that.
I love that too. Yes, I'm definitely attuned to the Emperor right now. But one thing I say to some of my clients when we pull like the Emperor reversed or the Emperor shows up in a troubling position, I'm like, well, let's go back and visit the lessons from the previous card, which is the Empress. And here I am, the Emperor, taking a gaze at the Empress. And I'm just going to get right into it. So I'm guessing that the people listening, these wonderful angels listening, already know what this book is. But I want to hear it from your own words. What is Lessons from the Empress?
So I'll start and then because it looked like Siri was thinking for a minute, but
No, Siri was doing mischief. Siri was doing mischief because the first thing that came to brain, like word association style, was a fever dream. Which, to be clear,
Great.
This book absolutely is not a fever dream.
Yeah, it really happened. I'm holding it in my hands. So I think for both of us, though, we both have struggled really for the past year and a half since we've been doing promotions to really name what it is, because it is not a very long book and we somehow packed so much into it. And so this is really Lessons from the Empress, to answer the question as straightforward as I can, is a tarot workbook that is meant to improve both your tarot skills and your creativity and your ability to know when to apply creative skill sets as opposed to a different skill set. And we also, and Siri said these words a while ago, but we also Trojan horsed in a lot of queerness. We made it look nice and flowery. And then we were like, gender is dead.
Gender is dead, and we killed it.
I love that juxtaposition. Thank you so much for naming it.
Yeah, it's really, the book, like, it really took on a life of its own in a lot of ways. I feel like because it began as these workbooks that we had created for a class that we were teaching together that was all about like using the tarot and creativity. And it was a 8 week long, like, how long was that class again?
It was a 6-week class, but we definitely wrote like 10 weeks worth of worksheets at least.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the kind of teachers we are. We did that and then turned it into a book. So, but it began in a really collaborative way to start with. Like, it's already a collaborative effort because, you know, co-authors, duh, of course it's collaborative, but it was also very much informed by our students who took that class with us and our tarot community and, you know, all of these outside forces. Like, really feels, I don't know, I don't want to say it feels bigger than us because it doesn't, I don't want to be like, this is the next Game of Thrones, everybody. But like, it does.
It is not the next Game of Thrones. Don't get your hopes up for that, people.
Wouldn't it be incredible if just like a tarot nonfiction book was the next Game of Thrones, though? Can you imagine?
I'm here for it.
Unreal.
Anyway, yeah, so I think that but it really feels like bigger than us, not in the terms of like that scale of bigness, but more in terms of just like what is true authorship and bringing in all of these different ideas. And I know that we both quote like other tarot readers and mentors and stuff pretty extensively throughout the book too. You know, this is, yes, it's a compilation of our knowledge, but it's also a compilation of the knowledge of so many other people. So yeah, that's kind of, it feels, this is my first book to be like out in the world on its own. And it feels like it's very much taking on its own life.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
I love it. Sometimes I forget I wrote it. Like, not in a like, I'm not an author way, but in a more like, whoa, I wrote that kind of way. Like, which is kind of fun, you know? And every once in a while I'll see it tagged everywhere. The nice thing about a book is that the staying power is so, you know, much longer than a single podcast episode or, you know, as creatives, we have to do a lot of creating online. So it feels like it keeps coming back. People keep telling me, oh, I just got your book and I'm just starting it now, even though it's, you know, a year later, which I think is very cool.
I think that's true for all of my books, and it coming from theater, which is my primary professional and education background, it's just really shocking that people still reference things. I think the only person who still references plays I did 4 years ago is me. And so I think books just have, no pun intended, but like such a different shelf life. And because of that, they get to grow and evolve in a way that other more flash in the pan creative projects do not. And so it's really beautiful to me to see what becomes of it. Since I haven't been doing theater because of the pandemic, I've kind of fallen back in love with film for the same reason. Like the staying power and the fact that every time you rewatch or reread something, you get something different out of it in a way that you don't always get to with social media or theater or even live music or something like that. So I don't know. It's always really exciting to me. And then it always really challenges me as an author when people come up and say, oh, I loved your book, and they tell me something they got out of it that I literally, like, I don't know where they got that, but I'm glad they did. Like, I don't remember writing it.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when people are like, I got this thing out of it, and I don't know where it came from, I'm just like, ah, yes, Cassandra is brilliant.
Oh, that's so sweet. But I think because this wasn't my first book and it has happened with my other books, I very much am like, I don't know, just impressed with the way the book can speak to different things, even stuff I wasn't thinking about.
That's so amazing. I'm sitting here just sort of like vicariously living through you all. We were just talking a little bit earlier about how at the beginning of 2024, my book, Tarot for the Hard Work, my anti-racism essay collection, workbook, self-discovery tool. It's many things in one. And it has always felt like a really big project. So when you both were talking about how like, this is bigger than us, I felt a pang of like deep resonation. Like, I guess I can't really articulate it very well, but the way you're talking about about lessons from the Empress, my heart is just like, I'm so happy for them. And I am so curious to see what it's like what it's like to be y'all.
Yes.
Well, and your book is so brilliant.
It is.
Oh, yes, you're reading it right now, aren't you?
I actually finished it. I guess I sent the blurb to Catherine already, but I haven't heard from her yet. So I assume she's just hasn't gotten to it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to let you be surprised because I also know when people give me really big compliments to my face, I literally do not know what I'm just like, oh, neat. Like I can't process it. So, but I know I definitely said something. I know I've definitely said something I always felt that will probably embarrass you, but definitely the end of my blurb said that Maria Minnis is the future of tarot. And I meant that with my whole heart.
Now, why would you say that when I'm trying to be a good podcast host? Now I want to cry. Thank you.
This is why I didn't read the whole thing.
No, you know what? I don't know how to react to big compliments, but I react anyway. And if the other person is uncomfortable with my squirming, I guess that's on them.
That's fine. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm going to sit with that. I'm going to put that in my pocket and sit with it. And speaking of just like the writing process, I'm curious. So I was talking about my book, and one thing I thought about was, despite the fact that it was a huge project, I had the ability to maintain my why throughout it all, even though it looks nothing like, the first draft or, what it looked like initially. But my reason for this book existing in the world maintained the same. And I'm curious if that might evolve after the book comes out. And so my question for both of you is, why does Lessons from the Empress exist? And has that answer shifted throughout this past year?
That's such a good question, and I love it. I think for me, Lessons from the Empress exists because creativity is inherently deeply healing. And I think that the way this book came out, how it came out, you know, what comes through. I will say, you know, like, yes, the tagline is, I have to look at it, a tarot workbook for self-care and creative growth. And yes, we do talk about self-care, but very much in the way that like creativity is in and of itself, like self-care, getting to know ourselves, like kind of awakening to that. And I think that it exists because I don't feel like a lot of the books that are out there about, you know, writing in the tarot or creativity in the tarot, like they're great, but they're not like workbooks. You know what I mean? Like they're not like, we're going to really dive in and do the work and do a ton of exercises. I will say that Cassandra has read many more tarot books than I have. So, you know, they might disagree with me on that, you know, front, and Maria, you may as well. But I feel like it's unique because it is about creativity, but creativity isn't just like I'm going to sit and I'm going to, you know, read this book and that's going to be my experience. Creativity is a hands-on thing, right? So like it's the way that we wrote the book is baked into our entire philosophies around creativity and therefore around self-care and expressing yourself. And that just feels really special to me. And I don't think I had really articulated or even thought of it that way before it came out.
Wow.
And now that I've been sitting with it for so long, and like when I talk to people about tarot, I'll be like, oh, I wrote a book, but it's kind of specific. This is what it's about. I realize like, oh yeah, like it's not just a workbook, or it's not just a book about tarot. It's a way of learning tarot and a way of diving more deeply into your creative practice. And I also really adore that about your book too, Maria. Like your book is very much like it's these beautiful essays and then also activities and journal prompts and all of this stuff, because like the hard work, as you said, you know, it's unlearning white supremacy within ourselves. It is doing all of this like really intense, deep work. And that's not something you do just by sitting there. Right. And so your book is really proud of that as well.
Thank you so much. I really see that the essence of what you're saying resonating in my memories of my two experiences with the book since I read it twice. Cassandra, what about you?
So for me, when we started, I honestly just wanted to share a bunch of knowledge and information and theories that I like know and have studied about creativity of all kinds in theater and writing and other stuff, because I was an art critic for a while too. And so I hadn't really felt that I had an opportunity to share that with my tarot audience, but certainly a lot of those Venn diagram, or a lot of those circles are like Venn diagrams where people are very invested in both tarot and witchcraft and the other things that I am very invested in. So in the beginning, I felt like I was coming from a place of almost like generosity of knowledge or intellect, where I just wanted other tarot lovers to have this information. And then as we've gotten the book out and pushed it, and also even as we were writing it, like, I mean, we all know, because we all live in the US in 2023, and it feels like so much of the progress young activist me felt like we were making has just taken horrific backslides. And I think now that this book is out in the world, I fully want people to use it as a tool to equip themselves to create queer art and tell their story and create whatever it is. And whether you're doing that because that's how we spread love and make liberatory gains, or whether you're doing it because fuck these closed-minded people, I'm going to be loud and proud anyway. Like either way, that is beautiful and necessary right now. And so regardless of which side, or if you're like me and you like fluctuate between those sides, hopefully the book offers you some additional tools, as well as just a lot of affirmation that your creative heart isn't wrong. Your creative side, whatever you want to call it, is as right as the rest of you. And so go and make beautiful things. And if people don't like it, they can choke on it.
Preach it.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. Wow. I am so excited to listen back to this podcast because I'm having all sorts of tingly moments and I want to like do something with them. And it's kind of like the tingly moments I had when, I want to say reading your book, those, times like, but it was more like experiencing it. It is hard for me to put into words how helpful this book was for me in my own creative processes because, Lord knows I have been through, some hard writer's blocks. I've, lost motivation and like, I was like, I'm not going to look at this book too much because it's about tarot and it's a workbook. And I don't want to like, accidentally plagiarize or something. But like once I got a firm grasp on my book, I felt safe enough to read yours. And my favorite part of it was that I was never bored. I have read a lot of books about, creativity. We're all artists here. I'm sure we all have. And I find myself buying these books or grabbing them from the library. And yes, I learn things, but what did I really get out of that experience? With Lessons from the Empress, I have tangible proof of my experience with that book, and of what I've learned and what I've cultivated within myself. And the fact that it is structured the way that it is makes this resource such an evergreen gift to the world. Like, thank you for writing this book.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'm like blushing so much and nobody can see it probably.
Yeah.
I'm really effusive and I'm really like, I love to give compliments, but my thing is that I will never give a compliment about like it's all genuine. like I am not like gassing you up or anything. I was like already impressed with both of you. And then I was like, damn, life is changing as a result of my experience with this book. And I am all the more better for it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know I'm not alone. Like I was going to say, I doubt I'm alone, but I'm like, no, I've talked to people. I'm not alone. One thing that y'all mentioned is that you both put so much information and resources and prompts. There's so much in this, quote unquote, little book. Did either of you, or actually, I want to ask both of you, what was your favorite topic to write about? Like, I know this whole project you're both really passionate about, but like, what was your favorite thing to write about? And tell me why.
Mine was rewriting the Fool's Journey as the Empress's Journey. That was probably like one of the biggest just like aha moments. I think I like sat up in the middle of the night or I woke up really early and I messaged Cassandra and I was like, is it okay do you mind if I do this? And they were like, I would prefer that you do that. Because I was like, should we try to do like a more standard walkthrough of the major arcana? Because that's the thing, is that we both wanted this to be a book that, yes, it would have a lot of value for tarot readers who were professionals or who were seasoned. But we also wanted anyone to be able to pick up this book and learn tarot, right? So there are things that you have to do to like make that possible. And one of those things is explaining what the cards mean. And so I just, when I first got this idea, I was like, oh, this is, I want to do this because it will get me in, like, it will teach me so much as I write this. And it was almost like a channeled piece of writing. It just like came out of like, this is how this works. And it was really fast. And so that was probably the most fun that I had. Other than that, I would say the swords chapter, because I love the swords so much, and it was just really fun to write. And I also really appreciated the piece that Cassandra pulled into that chapter on writing memoir, because I don't write memoir. And I thought that that was just like such a good tie-in to talk about us. Like, how do we share ourselves? Like, what of ourselves do we share in memoir? Like, what are our boundaries around? It was just so good. So, yeah.
For me, it was also getting to explore some of those different styles. Like Siri had asked for just, you know, a few sentences and activities for the memoir piece, which was really fun because that's such a different style of writing than plays, or I'm also in TTRPG spaces a lot. And so, I read a lot of fiction, I write a lot of fiction, and the memoir is still so different from all of that and the nonfiction. So getting to flex that muscle a little was really fun. But I think that a style I'm obsessed with and almost never get to do anything with professionally is surrealism. So even just those few sentences in the cups about this was the political point of surrealism, and this is the style of art we can really play with the cups, because everything is supposed to be these dreamscapes and tune us into our emotions and all of that. So getting to play with that was really, really fun. And then I love it now. It was a challenge writing, being someone who writes a lot of nonfiction and then trying to take a surrealist approach to telling the stories of the cups, because I was like, okay, well, this still only makes sense if I tell you each card in order. Otherwise, people will be like, why is the 4 over here? And I think the most controversial decision I've ever made in my writing career is in Queering the Tarot. I very intentionally told stories of mini narratives together, like the 3 through 6 of certain suits or whatever. And some people really love it, but some people really hate it and want each one to have their own essay. And so I wanted to stick to that with the cups in this one and make sure that each piece still got a whole thing. But I'm really happy with how it came out. And what I really love that Siri and I were both able to do is we so often spend so much time and energy on the fool's journey, but especially for those of us who are creating things, a lot of our life is really mired down in the day-to-day and piece by piece and step by step. And so the fact that we got to still tell these really fluid, beautiful stories with the minors is really important to me as well.
Well, Cassandra, I'm just plus one-ing. Fluid flow. This book flows really well. Go ahead, Siri.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I think that like we were both in a big like justice for the minor arcana mood while we were writing this book. I was like, what if I only wrote a book about the swords? What if Cassandra, you only wrote a book about the wands, because I should not be the one to write a book about the wands, and I recognize this. But I want to read a book about the wands because they're honestly like, this is tarot reader like vulnerability hour, but the wands are where I struggle the most because I see so many shades of what the wands are saying in the other suits and in the major arcana, that getting the wands to be distinct in my brain from those other cards has been probably the hardest like thing for me as I continue to learn tarot. So Cassandra, write that book, please.
So here's a fun fact that we're all published authors, so we can also just tell the audience, the fact of the matter is books that are that niche on that specific of a topic within the tarot, they don't sell. I have a really good, and I mean, they don't sell to publishers. I believe that people would buy them. But like, I have a very good agent and she's extremely good. I adore her. And still getting someone to buy a tarot book that does not at some point go by every single card by card, is really hard. Like the publishers just aren't biting. And so if any publishers are listening know that this is something people want.
I might cut this in post, as I've been saying, as if I'm in the film industry. I might cut this in post production. But Cassandra, is that an instance where like self-publishing would be appropriate for you? Because I think you actually have enough of a platform to pull off making money self-publishing.
And I don't think I do. And here's why. I make a lot of products and a lot of offerings that just straight up don't sell. I live at a much lower income than people probably think I do. And like, it's fine. Like, no one should feel sorry for me. Like, it's fine. It just, I know from people talking to me, like, they'll be like, oh, well, you don't need to worry about that product not selling. But it's like literally the difference if I eat or not. And I'm like, what do you think my life is? Like, and I think people do equate like having your names on books with things like steady money, and that's certainly not always the case. So I say all of that to say I would not want to put all of the effort into writing something for self-publishing and then it just didn't sell. And then on top of that, I'd want it to be good. So I would want to pay both a fact checker and a proofreader and like all of that stuff. And by then I'm like probably losing money, especially at first.
Gotcha.
Right.
Well, dang it. I thought I was going to inspire self-publication because I want to read that book, but it's fine. I think kind of like another reflection I have on the book and also on this conversation, right? So like,
oh yeah. The book, the reason we're here.
The reason we're all here. But no, really, I think that Lessons from the Empress, like, even though it's a book about creativity, like, you know, creativity is inherent in so many aspects of our lives. It is in our jobs. It is in, you know, what we do. And especially if you're self-employed in any industry, you're going to need to include a lot of creativity in order to, you know, like, figure out how to move in the market or figure out how to like what your next offering is going to be or whatever. And I also think that one of the big surprises that I've had since publishing this book has been my relationship with being in public, like caps lock, like in public has changed dramatically.
Really?
Yeah. So for a long time, I was like, oh, I need to, you know, build an audience of like 10,000 people on Instagram. And I need to do all of these things before I publish my first book to prove that I have an audience. Well, I've published the book now. So like, I don't have to prove that anymore. I don't have to do that in the same way. And of course, like, obviously, like I still need to market the book. I still need to talk about it, you know, post about it occasionally. Hope that people are still finding it out in the wild, serendipitously. But something has just switched in my brain. And I think part of it was writing a book that is so intensely about creativity, but this book is also so much about love. Like, it is about our love for community. It is about our love for ourselves, our projects, our lives, like all of that. And it also gave me the like, okay, but like, I want to write long, nuanced work, baby. I don't want to write sound bites. Like, so I started really thinking about like, how can I shift what I'm doing publicly so that I'm doing more of that writing, so that I'm doing more of that lengthy, nuanced writing. And then I also started to realize in the fervor of like, oh, I got to promote the book. I got to promote my readings. I got to do all of this. Like, I was in scarcity mindset for a big part of this year because I was unemployed for a big part of this year. And also not making enough money, like self-employed wise. So so that led to a lot of overuse of social media for me. Like the level at which I was using Instagram, Twitter /X, RIP Twitter, was just not healthy for me. So I took a break from it all in July into August and found out that it was entirely Instagram.
Whoa.
Like, I didn't have issues with Blue Sky or Threads or anything. It was all Instagram. That was because I felt like I had to be so like professional, and I had to like, present myself in a certain way, and I had to, have the prettiest graphics, and I had to create a visual brand story, and I was putting all of this pressure on myself. And as a one queer business, like as a one person business, that is so much. I was holding myself to the standard that like professional marketing teams have, but only on Instagram, because on all the other apps, I could be like, oh, well, this is a professional tweet and this is my silly little guy tweet. It's fine. Apparently not on Instagram. That's just not how my brain was working. And so I think that like one of the big things that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and it relates back to Lessons from the Empress, is having boundaries around our creative time. What is the stuff that we share while it's in progress? And what is the stuff that we save to share until later? That has been a huge question.
And what's the stuff we don't share at all? Me and my queer platonic partner, we both are really good cooks, and we're mid bakers, but we're really good cooks and really good experimenting with like drink recipes. I'm sober, but like, mocktails and stuff. But that's just for us. And when friends that come over, like I'm never going to release Cassandra's recipe book. Like that's just for me to be creative and also feed my body. And so some stuff does get to be just for you without ever sharing it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's been like a weird, that's been a weird response of mine to publishing a book, is like, oh, wait a minute. Now I'm like an author TM. And so all of these things that I was doing in hopes of like building enough cred to publish my first book, I don't have to worry as much. And obviously like pitching is still a big issue. Like, I'm very thankful to be working on my second book right now, and doing other stuff in publishing. But like, I also want to jump into the fiction game, and that's terrifying.
Oh, hell yes. Do it.
Yes, it's terrifying though. And so like, I know that, obviously I still need to maintain like a platform in order to market and like all of that. But it's just, my perspective has shifted so much in terms of like what I feel like I have to do and what I actually want to do. And also realizing I don't have to do the things I thought I had to do.
Yeah.
I love that. You are speaking to one of the things I am most looking forward to after this book, is doing more of what I want. And that's one thing that came out of Lessons from the Empress for me, was like, yes, I've got like in my day job, I work in user experience design. I create stuff all the time for like my witchy community, and it's like all of these things that I create have purposes. And after reading or experiencing, if you will, Lessons from the Empress, one of the big lessons that I took from me for myself was, sometimes you have to check in with yourself and understand where your creative energy is leaking, and learn how to be able to tell when it is. And what I've been doing with that energy that I get back is pouring it into my own personal artistic practice. And that's a huge lesson that I left the first time with this book. It's been life-changing for me. And I'm curious, you both wrote the book, but what is a surprising lesson from the Empress that has come up as you've like written the book or brainstormed it, or in this past year since it's been out? What's a lesson that the Empress has offered you?
I think for me, I have an answer that I don't want to be public, that Siri probably knows what I'm alluding to, but the answer I will say publicly is that, and it's a completely different thing, but my witchcraft itself has gotten funkier almost. Like it's gone from, and some of that was I wrote this book and then I had time after this book to do things like go to a psychiatrist and get assessed and found out that I had some diagnoses that I had no idea, including obsessive compulsive disorder. And I had to really break down like, okay, am I doing this because this is what feels right to me spiritually? Or am I doing this because it's become like a compulsive ritual? Like I feel like bad things will happen if I don't do these things. And in a lot of cases, the answer was the latter. And so I went back and revisited Lessons from the Empress because I feel like it has a lot of really good, beautiful, magical things in it. And now I just like, I don't know, I made my own tincture for the first time. I have just like, I almost want to say I've really gone rogue in my witchcraft, but I also think it is working better and feels better than it ever has. And the book was really a lot of that. It served as a road opener, even for me.
Yeah, I think for me, Lessons from the Empress, brought really into the forefront that I need to get the rune book out. Like, it's like, so that's what I'm working on right now. I've announced it. So Queering the Runes is coming from Wiser Books next fall.
Yeah.
Really excited about it. I am also in the absolute horrors of the writing process at the moment.
I was about to say, didn't you just finish a draft?
No, I actually asked for an extension because I was like, this book is not going to be nearly as good if I have to turn it in on September 30th, let me tell you. And they were all very like,
I'm proud of you for doing that.
Thank you. Thank you. The book needed it. The spirit of the book was like, Siri, what are you doing? But that book also, I think Lessons from the Empress was an absolute shock because I always thought that Queering the Runes would be the first book I publish, right? So, it's natural that that's the second book I'm publishing, but it was really like, I don't want to say a mind fuck because that's really dramatic, but I'm also very dramatic. So maybe it fits. And now I feel like I have this like dam in my brain that is Queering the Runes, and all of these other like especially fiction story ideas are just like beating up against this wall, and Queering the Runes needs to come out. And the writing is going really well. Like I love this book. It's going to be so good and so necessary, especially in the rune reading and heathenry community. And I'm like, I've been working on this book for 7 years, so I am ready to be done with this book.
We are ready for it.
It needs to come out. So,
like, just for perspective for people listening, Siri started the like bare like baby infancy of this book back when I was writing my first Queering the Tarot articles on Little Red. That's when Siri also started writing Heathen's Journey articles focusing on the runes. And then I think,
wow,
I think it's happening in the right time. Like, I think this is when you're like ready for it to really come out, but I definitely think it is time.
Yeah, it's super time. Thank you. Yeah, I started really writing the baby of this book in like 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
2015, maybe even. Yeah, so that's like, it's just really intense. And I think lessons from the Empress, one of the lessons that the Empress has taught me is to have fun with it and to let things be unexpected and to, you know, kind of follow my weirder impulses. Like right now, I'm kind of obsessed with technomancy and like using magic with technology. And like I'm living in this like weird, like,
Yes.
I'm living in my own weird little science fiction world right now where I'm like charming my phone on a full moon.
Amazing. I love that.
I do too.
Oh, wow.
It's so the exact opposite of what people expect from a rune reader too. So
Yeah.
that feels really fun because people expect us all to be like, well, historical accuracy says. And I don't know why I sounded like Jimmy Stewart there, but there we go.
It is appreciated.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I think lessons from the Empress it really got me to loosen up. Like so much of the book was me like loosening up and being like, oh, all of these boundaries and like structures and like expectations that I've been putting on myself are just not true anymore. Querying the Runes is not my first book. Like I didn't, spoiler alert, I still don't have 10,000 followers on Instagram as of this record. I didn't need that and I still don't, like it's that's been the biggest like thing for me, I think, which feels also like a very like foolish lesson, but with the steady groundedness of the Empress of like, expectations are fine, but like also be gentle.
Well, and I think it also speaks to that Empress idea of nurturing the things that we naturally love and gravitate to and just allowing them to grow into whatever they're going to grow into. And I think that it really speaks to that. And I think, you weren't only nurturing your relationship with runes, you were that whole time, like nurturing your relationship with tarot, certainly nurturing your relationship with spirit, with witchcraft, and certainly with creativity. And yeah, whatever happened. And I'm very glad that you were on this project with me.
Yeah.
Thank you both for sharing this gift with the world. And thank you so much for allowing me to share space with you and get to ask the questions that have been bubbling in my mind for, a long time now. And I
plug your book before we go.
I was going to say that.
Oh,
tell us about your book because
I'm going to keep talking about y'all's book. So my book, Tarot for the Hard Work, it's ready for pre-order now. You can find it on Bookshop. You can find it on Amazon. It comes out January 8th, 2024. It's a practical tarot workbook to confront racism, inspire personal insight, and prompt social change. I've written over 60 essays, hundreds of activities, and 21 exercise sheets for how you can build your own anti-racism toolkit that's customized to you and your community, and how you can find your unique skill set and craft your unique skill set to demolish structural racism in everyday life. This is a project that has been many things. It's been, a spiral notebook. It's been a, cult blog series. It's a book. And I am so grateful to be able to share it with the world. And I just invite you all to take a look at it. You don't have to know tarot. You don't have to care about tarot, really. The archetypes of the major arcana serve as sort of analogs for our, interaction with different anti-racist strategies and theories and perspectives. And so this book, which I've written for, white audiences, people of color, I think I'm an example of it, yes, this is for white people, but it's also for people of color who are working to undo not internalized ableism, but, it's all interconnected, but internalized racism. And so this is my gift to the world. I read back through this book, and I do not like reading my writing, but even I was like, whoa.
I don't like reading mine either.
Oh, really? Yeah.
No.
Reading your own writing is again, the horrors. We return to them.
Yeah.
Right. And I kept putting off my final review, dot my I's and cross my T's final edit. And I was like, I'm the person who wrote this book. So, not to toot my own horn, but I am pretty proud of this piece of work. And I invite you to join in crafting and cultivating a more liberated future with our tarot buddies. So that's Tarot for the Hard Work, out January 8th, 2024. Thank you both, Siri and Cassandra, for letting me be here today.
Thank you.
Just interviewing you both was such an honor. And I feel like this is a really good opportunity for me to say, I have met so many witches and so many magical people, in my time of being a public witch, but you two I have learned so much from you two. My practice, it could never be the same as it could never be what it is today without both of you. And I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for Lessons from the Empress. I think this is an evergreen tool that will spark creativity in all sorts of wild ways for ages and ages. And I am so grateful to be in community with you. Thank you so much for letting me be here with you today.
Thank you so much. You are a dream host. I mean, it's not my podcast, so maybe I shouldn't say that.
No, you can steal my dial anytime.
It was wonderful. I just consistently love being in dialogue with you. I think we had the first opportunity with Nick Kepley's Searcher Solstice is when I think we kind of sat in on each other's workshops and stuff a few years ago. And watching you get more and more successful makes my heart so happy. I absolutely love what you're doing, and I'm just so excited for this book for Tarot for the Hard Work to get out.
Oh my God. Maria, Cassandra.
Thank you.
I have somehow, being a Cancer, this entire time that I've had a podcast, I have not cried on air. And
you've never cried during the Heathen Journey?
I have not cried. I have been very good. And I'm gonna break that streak, guys. So let's stop recording.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for hosting today, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Heathen's Journey podcast. I'm so honored to share these practices, conversations, and thoughts with you. If you would like to support this podcast directly, please consider supporting it on Patreon. I share episodes without the ads, and I also share announcements of upcoming work. I have only one tier at $3 a month, but you can give whatever works best for you. If you would like more of my writing on Nordic folk magic, consider subscribing to my newsletter Trollbrev. The name means magic letters, and it is a space for me to share some of my weirder and developing thoughts on magic. Links for both Patreon and the newsletter are in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and remember, keep it weird.